Good stuff it.
The poster boy for mass shooting. That's the point.
You ever done that before?
Yeah, but not like. Well, I have, yes, and then years and years ago, and then like I was in high school, and then we took the kids down the Pigeon Forge in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and it was like just going down like the lazy river. You know, it wasn't much to it. But this time there was class 3 rapids, so they were in the front. There was some. It was kind of wild. Our tour guide is from Maple Grove.
Really?
Yeah, he graduated in '97. He's been out there 20 years.
That's
Check 1 2. Yeah. Yeah, you got to be a little older because you do, especially if you're gonna hit any rapids at all, because
you gotta be strong enough to hold yourself in.
yeah, you do, because you'll bounce out. You'll bounce out, man. Oh, you've done it. Oh yeah,
Several
yeah.
times, but I couldn't remember. I was young. I didn't have kids, and I couldn't remember how old some of the kids were.
They said out there, in class 5, you got to be 18.
Yeah. So class 5's like Niagara Falls.
I know.
That changed because I brought a group.
Maybe that was just with this company too.
Because I brought a group of youth under most of them, all of them pretty much were under 18.
Okay. You did class 5?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Wow.
I bet you it wasn't class 5.
Just challenging. You just-
Peaceful
It was-
Greg is feisty today.
It was intense.
Well, now you're gonna sit.
You went camping?
Huh?
Intense. Psychology of resentment. Are we on? I'm talking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna do a
You didn't
rolling
do your
start.
awkward
This is
hello.
We're doing a rolling start.
This is the
today.
pregame. This is like a pre-meal.
My sister's
rolling
on.
start.
All right. Hey, Christy.
Welcome in, friendos. How you doing? It is a rainy August 18th, Thursday. You got Mike Stella's back from Colorado, and Greg Tysor, sanitizer,
Yep.
hanging out with you.
Where were you? You were in.
Rogers, right across the
No,
street
you
at
weren't.
home.
You were not. You were somewhere. I can't remember. Texas? No. Northern Minnesota. You went.
Oh, yeah, a couple weeks ago, yeah. We
Yeah.
went up north, had a good time. Cabin.
Nice.
Cabin country.
Where?
Hackensack, or
Oh, yeah.
like outside,
Sure.
20 minutes from Hackensack.
Nice.
Well, Hackensack's the closest town.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, you drive through Hackensack, you half blink and you miss that. But, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's fun. Just family at church let us use their cabin for a week, couple days, and it's on a lake with no public beach access, so it was quiet and nice, and yeah, it was cool. Kids stayed in. Asher pretty much stayed on the paddleboard all week, and we had kayaks and stuff like that. So we were just hanging out,
That's awesome.
relaxing. Yeah, had a good time.
Keep talking. I'm
So.
gotta mess with the volume here.
All right, talk about Colorado, Mike. When you
were out
moving?
there.
When you moving?
I know. You know,
You go every year.
we do.
Might as well
almost
just
every
stay
year.
there.
I know.
You come back every year, so
We do. It's hard to, the thing is you realize, the relationships matter.
I've been getting so good at checking that. And then, yeah, sorry.
Do they?
Just-
He was about to
Some
get
more
deep.
than others matter. Yeah, the place we stayed at, we were in called Fairplay, which is about an hour outside of
Fairplay?
Yeah,
That's
Fairplay.
kind of a weird name.
Yeah. It's about an hour south of Breckenridge.
Yeah.
It's in a valley,
Mhm.
so you got mountains all around you. So it's 'cause sometimes when you're in the mountains, it's hard to see the mountains.
Yeah.
And so this is kind of cool because we were in this valley and we are just completely surrounded. And then it was a nice location because it was like an hour and a half from Denver and an hour from Breck. And yeah.
Were you guys camping?
No, we rented a house.
Okay.
Yeah, we were with my parents.
Oh, okay, cool. Drive, or did you guys fly?
Yeah, drove.
How long's the drive?
Well, to there it was like 15 hours. Yeah.
Denver is what?
Denver's
13?
13.
The problem with that drive, though, is you start seeing the Rockies from central Nebraska.
No.
I'm
No.
joking.
You see them from like Denver.
It's a joke. My goodness, you guys.
Golden.
No, get it right. Okay.
Jeez Louise. It was a flat Nebraska joke because my sister's on.
Oh.
She used to live there.
Yeah,
What?
Nebraska's pretty boring to drive through.
Well, it's not just Nebraska. It's Nebraska and Colorado until you hit the Rockies, until you hit Denver.
Yeah, but at least
Yeah.
It's
after
flat.
driving east-west through Nebraska and you hit the state line, it's
Yeah.
like, thank goodness I'm out of there. There's
And then you got another 3 hours before you
not
hit
3 hours.
Is it Kearney or Kearney?
Kearney.
But
It's pronounced Kearney.
But it's K-E-I,
Yeah.
K-E-A?
Tim Lowenstein and Candace, I think they're both from Kearney.
Really?
Yeah. You know who else is from Kearney, Nebraska?
Kelsey Coons.
Yep. In your small group. You should
Yeah.
know. Yeah, you should know
But
how
I-
to pronounce
He
that.
did
I
know
should know how
how
to
to
pronounce
pronounce
that.
it.
I don't know. It's Kearney? Like
Yeah.
carnival,
Like
not
Kearney,
Kearney.
like carnival worker. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Gotcha.
Like
Small
Yeah.
hands.
It smells like
like
cabbage. Yeah. You drive through the town, it smells like cabbage. We used to fly in there. My sister and family used to live in Gothenburg. You remember driving through Gothenburg on I-80?
Missed that
So
one.
it's a small town, but to fly in, we'd fly into Kearney. Well, we'd have to fly either to Omaha or Denver because it's like 5 hours drive from
yeah,
either.
That's like the halfway point.
Yeah. So, but if we flew like Denver, you connect in like a small, like 19-seater, small plane and fly into Kearney, and it was like seriously like a mom and pop little operation. Like seriously, like a guy and his teenage kids would come unload the baggage. Then like when you fly out, they would check your tickets. Then they'd like go on the other side of the metal detectors and check you through security, and then get you on the plane. It was kind of funny. So, anyway,
Kearney was beautiful this time of year. That's all I gotta say.
was it?
It was gorgeous. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Why this time of year?
Because the
Corn?
the corn is
Lots
nice
of
and
corn?
high,
Yeah.
and the arch was there.
Arch?
There's like some.
Oh, there's
thing
like over the freeway. Yeah, there's one of those in Oklahoma too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a museum. It's a
Right.
museum. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, in Oklahoma, there's one that's like a rest stop.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a museum. I forgot about that.
No other podcasts are talking about Kearney, Nebraska right
No,
now. You
not
can't
one.
get this anywhere else.
No, this is riveting, riveting, and it's all a ruse to avoid baseball talk because Diane gets mad. But when you're in Colorado,
I
you
went to a
Rockies
Rockies
baseball game.
Rockies and
It's just for-
Diamondbacks. Those are professional baseball teams.
They used to be. I don't know if
Holy
they are.
cow!
I think they got a bunch of like minor league players.
That was some bad baseball. I mean, errors all over the
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
Routine ground balls are booting. One guy in
Yeah.
center field, the ball just went right over his head.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't see that very
It's called a
often.
home run.
No. It landed like
They just give up. Like, eh,
it just.
chase
Yeah,
that.
I was like, that was some bad baseball.
Yeah.
There was a play last. I don't know if was that last night the Profar play. I don't know. I shared with Andy.
It was in the last couple of days because it was when they were playing the Marlins this series. I think they changed teams this week.
Jerickson Profar, the San Diego Padres. There's a ball hit into the kind of the gap over his head to the wall. He fields it. Should be a double, and he held the ball and like waved the guy. I dare you to try to take third, and the guy and he throws him, like throws to third to try to get him out and didn't get him
Safe.
out. So he gave the
And
guy
then he
third
scored
base.
on the next play.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like the most minor
they
league,
pull him?
little league stuff. Probably not. I don't know.
I don't think so.
That was the most Padres thing ever.
Like if, as the manager, if that forced them to lose the game, I would have been
Yeah.
very upset. But
Other players too
yeah,
get upset over. That was a very Padres thing.
yeah. Well, it
Well,
might
the-
have been left over from when he got super concussed earlier in the year.
Oh.
He's
Was he
not
super concussed?
super. No, he was in the hospital for like 4
I
days.
don't remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I doubt it, but yeah,
Have you ever had a concussion?
not that I know of.
Have we talked about this before? I feel like we talked about this before.
Have we?
Well,
I've
if you
had a concussion.
Yeah,
so
maybe that's why I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you? You ever had a
I
concussion?
don't think it was ever diagnosed. They didn't diagnose concussions
Yeah.
back in the day. You just
I
got
know.
your bell rung, knocked out.
Yeah.
you
I got
know?
knocked out.
Yeah, I got
playing
knocked out.
Football, just like friends at a park by my friend's house when we were in high school. We played all these big guys in their 30s who are lifelong friends, and every year they'd go to one of the guys' house on Thanksgiving, and then day after Thanksgiving they'd be out there playing football. Then we would play with them. And one guy, he was probably like 300-pound Samoan dude, and I tried to tackle him, and I took his knee right here, to temple, knocked me out, and I was fine. I got up and kept playing, and then like the next night, I started feeling sick, and then my mom took me to the doctor, and then, he's like, well, I don't know, I probably had a concussion or something. Just take it easy for a couple days. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, that was before anesthesia.
I don't know if I was super concussed.
Super. Have the Dodgers going to lose a game ever again?
They lost one the other night.
They did?
Yeah.
Seemed like they had won like
Tuesday
10 in a
night.
row.
They blew
They
a
won
save.
12 in a row. and then
Almost
lost
blew a
one.
save last night, too.
Yeah.
I was going to get upset
weak
because I
point.
had Tony G pitching for me in my fantasy league. And
They're unstoppable.
Kimbrel, well, they're stoppable.
Their,
I mean, they
their
got
weakest
stopped the
point is a
other night.
closer, Craig Kimbrell. He's gonna
Well, when
lose
you're up by
his job.
15 runs, who cares if you have a closer?
Oh, well, they're not.
No.
They're
they
playing
lose
the
by-
other NL
Playing the
league.
Brewers, yeah.
I'll take the Dodgers.
Yep.
You take everyone else.
No.
It's come on, have some confidence in your team.
Lifelong Dodger fan.
No, I say they're unstoppable.
But they're not. They've lost some
See?
games.
You're starting to talk like a Minnesotan.
No, that's it. No. Dodger history is a lot like Minnesota sports. It's like, you're really, you just end up frustrated. So, anyway. And there you have it.
There you go.
Baseball talk.
There it is.
Better than soccer talk.
I played soccer my life growing up. It was fun.
Yeah, but
Talking about soccer yesterday with someone.
were you?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I played
Recap
football.
recap the Premier League.
I watch. I can't. What's the show?
Oh, Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso. I couldn't think of the name of the show. Ted Lasso. Yeah.
It's a great.
When's that new season come out?
I don't know.
This fall or winter?
Could be.
Okay.
I don't know. Don't know everything. But I do know the summer is almost coming to an end. And weather's changing.
Amen.
No. I resent cold weather, which is my really harsh segue into what I want to talk about today. Real quick, while Mike has some time to hang out with us. I brought this up a few weeks ago, but I was listening to a podcast by Lex Friedman. He's a scientist, particularly specializes in artificial intelligence. He's been on Joe Rogan's podcast before, but then he also has his own podcast. And on his own podcast, he had somebody else that was on there, and they were talking about resentment. And he made this statement. It was the guy who wrote Madness of the Crowds. Well, I can't think of his name right now. Douglas Murray.
Yep.
And he said this. I want to see what you guys think. Think about this statement, and let's talk about resentment. Because I think I partially agree with his statement, although I think it goes even deeper than resentment itself. But he said, resentment, one of the biggest drivers of evil in this world. That's what Douglas Murray said. How do you guys feel about that? Or you can chew on it. Tell me what resentment is. And this is, while they think about that, is a believer, non-believer, everybody who's a human issue, but I think it's a problem with both and all people. What is resentment?
Does he expand on it at all? Like when he says, how does he define it? Like,
Well, I want you to define it.
Okay.
What do you
well,
think
I
resentment
see
is?
resentment almost as a derivative of fear.
How so? So when you resent somebody, you fear them, or you fear something else?
You fear not getting what you wanted. You feel that like you feel maybe this fear of disappointment. You fear maybe that somebody else, or maybe fear is not exactly the right word, but like, what was the quote again? Fears or
Resentment is one of the biggest drivers of evil
evil.
in this world. Are you Googling resentment?
I was just trying to see how, like, just get a better idea of how, like, that would be defined.
How does
Bitter indignation at having been treated
Treated
unfairly.
unfairly.
Yeah.
so it has more to do about justice?
Yeah, I don't. I think the thing I struggle with is, well, as a believer, we think, well, the biggest driver of evil is sin. Period. Right. So, in that is a wide range of things, whether it's resentment. All comes back to pride, right? Isn't that the kind of the joke? Pride's the gateway sin. That's what I call it.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
The
Quote me on
first
that.
person to say that?
Quote me on that. No, but I bet Douglas Murray didn't say it.
I don't believe he did.
I don't know. I mean, it kind of makes sense. That's why I wanted to look at how it's, whatever this is, Oxford language. Yeah, okay. So how they define it, being treated unfairly. Seems like a lot of the really evil people, when you think of in the world, it's like someone that had a weird, bad upbringing, or I don't know. I guess I could see some of that. I don't know if it's the biggest driver of evil.
Yeah, I would. I don't disagree. I guess I would. If you took one of the words out, that's just it. Is the biggest driver of evil.
I don't know, because like you could say that about so many different things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you really mean? Like the biggest?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, it could be. Maybe.
Okay.
I resent some of the evil people that they treat us unfairly. So.
Bitter indignation at being treated unfairly. Huh.
Is it easier to recognize resentment in other people or in your own self?
I think it's usually easier to recognize things in other people. Or is it that sometimes it's not like a self-awareness thing, but sometimes we don't want to admit that there's resentment, or we feel like we're justified in it. But other people shouldn't be, right? I mean, I don't know.
What's the difference between resentment and anger?
Resentment, you're angry because of something that's been done to you, or angry because of something that's been done to you, right? Like treated unfairly, as it says here, or I don't know, maybe.
But if you're treated unfairly, you
The
say,
way
I'm angry. I was treated unfairly.
Yeah.
Is
it cause and effect?
Is that resentment as well?
I don't know. He asked the wrong people this question.
I see resentment more of a long-term thing than anger, maybe. So, like, if I resented somebody, like, I've held on to that for a while.
Yeah, it feels like it would be like a long, yeah. Like
Whereas
you'd hold
anger,
hold
maybe
it
you're
longer.
just, like, angry in the moment.
Yeah.
Like, man, I was really mad that they did that. But then if it affects you long-term, there's a sense of maybe resentment there. Or there is resentment there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anger is an emotion. Resentment is a response to anger. That's what my sister says.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's really well
There you
stated.
go. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. That was really well stated.
Yeah.
So what is resentment? So anger could be one of the things it looks like. But how else do you recognize?
It comes out in anger, but it could also come out in like just complacency or
So yeah,
like
keep going with
apathy
there. How
or
do you
something.
recognize resentment, whether it's in your own life or somebody else's?
I don't know. Sometimes you got to get to the core of why. If someone's just angry all the time, why are you angry? Or if they're just apathetic, I mean, I feel like that takes conversation, or it takes digging into to see what the core is, right? That's why we have counselors and stuff. But
I think if you're adjusting your life to try to avoid a situation or a person, that's one way to recognize
Yeah.
it. Like, and I don't know, I would think I think it's easier for me to recognize it myself than in others, resentment. Sometimes people, I don't know if I've ever had anyone say like resented. I've had people say, well, I've been angry at you. They've just used the word anger. And I didn't know.
or they might say, "I resent that you did this."
Yeah. And I was like, oh,
but then that's made me angry at you for 20 years.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But I think in my own life, I can recognize it if I'm resenting somebody and being like, you feel those emotions, I suppose, when you're around them, or if you see them, you might not always know that in somebody else.
Yeah.
I mean, anger, like is that was your sister?
Yeah.
Usually you kind of know when someone's angry. Resentment can be hidden a little
Yeah.
bit more. That's my opinion. Andy, what do you think?
I think because it is more long term, we learn how to live with it more better.
All right, let's move on.
We
from
learn how to
anything.
live with resentment more than we can tolerate being angry for, because at some point, if you're just strictly angry, you're going to blow up at some point. It's just going to bubble up. But with resentment, it can be silent, and it can be under the surface, and I think it's more of a slow burn, steep, that we just learn how to adjust and to kind of live with it and carry it with us wherever we go, whatever situation we're in, and put on a happy face when we have to. But, so I think it'd be tricky to see it either in myself or in other people.
Let me ask this, because I was thinking about this the other day. I was talking to somebody about like forgiveness, and in 1 Corinthians 13, with the love, the love passage is like, one of them is love keeps no record of wrongs, right? And like as a Christ follower, how do we walk that line of not keeping a record of wrongs, and forgiving, not becoming resentful, but also not giving yourself over to be hurt in the same way again. Does that make sense? Like I was chatting with this person. They said they had a history of some hard stuff with another person, and there's forgiveness there, but they're very cautious with being in any type of like close-knit relationship with them again. And they asked me, is that wrong of me, of a Christian? Have I not really forgiven them? I'm like, no, I don't think so. I think you could forgive someone and still be wise and protect yourself from being hurt in the same way again. So I don't know. Maybe it's not related to resentment.
No, I think see what happens. I think when you don't do that, is you keep getting hurt constantly over and over again. Then I think start to harbor some resentment towards that person, but it's really your own. I don't want to say it's your own fault, because they're at fault too, because they're doing something that's needing for forgiveness. But something is happening that might not need to by simply just
putting yourself in a bad environment.
creating boundaries with that person. What were you looking at, Mike?
I was looking at a quote. I don't know. I think there's two sides to it, though, because we don't have a lot of examples of in Scripture of, like, don't put yourself in that position type thing, in a way, right? I mean, what does it say in Matthew? Is it 7? If somebody sinned against you, how many times supposed to forgive them? Not 7 times, but 70 times 7, right?
Yeah.
Supposed to constantly have that forgiveness, right? And like one of the greatest sins ever was Peter's denial of Christ, and God restored him, right? Even when John, or even when Paul wouldn't go with Mark. They reconciled later. So I don't know. I think I agree with you that there probably are.
Didn't you send Mark off with Barnabas to fix him?
Yeah, right. Now,
Can you fix him?
I do want to. There's a caveat to that in the sense of if something's illegal.
Yeah.
Like we're talking like physical harm.
That's what I'm thinking of. Like more abuse, whether it's physical, mental, psychological,
right.
like abusive
type stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'm with you on that. Like that. But if we're talking just kind of disagreements amongst Christians.
Yeah, that's a totally different thing.
And saying, especially how politically divided things can be, right? I do think that we should be careful just to be like, just don't hang out with them. Just don't hang out with that person because if you don't like them, don't hang out with them.
I think that would probably more depend on your own ability to be able to have civil conversations with somebody that doesn't believe or agree with you. Because, looking at the definition that Greg pulled up, a lot of it had to do with justice or fairness. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people, connecting it to your concept of pride, they do think they're right. And they don't know how to open a window to let's just talk about it instead of like planting a flag and saying I'm right and you're wrong.
Right.
I mean, maybe you are, maybe you're not. But let's at least be able to have a conversation about it and challenge each other's ideas and poke holes in each other's ideas. But there's so many people, Christian and non-Christian, that aren't willing to do that. They just want to say I'm right about something.
Right.
And you're wrong. And the other person could walk away resentful because how do you know? And why do you just, writing me off because you think I'm right or wrong and you're right? Mm-hmm. And then the other person who thinks they're right could walk away saying this guy's an idiot. So, they resent even wasting time having a relationship with this person.
Yeah, that's really good. No, I agree with you. As I don't know, I was just looking at a quote, maybe it applies by Keller. And he says, there are generally two kinds of overly sensitive people. Those who have been badly hurt, so we should be patient with them, and those who do it deliberately as a way to gain followers through a narrative of injury. Discerning which is the challenge. Oh yeah. And so
read that again.
So like the martyr type person just feel sorry for you and they get attention from it.
Right. So those who have been hurt who say, he said there are those who have been badly hurt, so we should be patient with them. Yeah. There's real
genuine
real hurt, right? Yeah. There's real abuse, there's real sin. And those who are doing it deliberately as a way to gain followers through a narrative of injury. The challenge is discerning which one is which. Yeah. Right? And so I think as Christians, we should definitely be far erring on the side of not having resentment and restoring those relationships and saying, no, we shall be working shoulder to shoulder and getting past, these relationship strifes. Now, again, the caveat to that is we're not talking about physical or sexual or some sort of even emotional abuse where you have clearly different levels, like a child to an adult to a child, something like that, right? Where if these people or their kids or their adults are on the same level, I would say just basically saying, well, I'm going to take my ball and go over here, you take your ball and go over there. I don't think that's what we should be doing.
So is resentment something that you do to someone else and regret something you do to yourself? I don't know why I just thought of that.
What'd you say?
Resentment is something that is done to you or you do to someone else. Regret is something you've done to yourself. You look back and regret.
Oh, I didn't hear the word regret. Yeah.
Boy, we could talk in circles all day long, can't we?
That's good.
I mean, to me, they're closely related. Just one's more self-injury and one's
cousins.
Yeah.
One's removed.
But because either one, when they take root,
maybe
severely affect your life
is
and your relationship.
The coming down of the resentment feeling is after you've recognized it. That regret is how you might feel looking at the situation, trying to release that resentment. Now, I think a lot of that stuff is resentment related to like me and another person or one-on-one. But I found this passage, not found it, I knew this passage in Psalm where the writer Asaph is writing. And he starts out by saying, you know, God is good. He's trying to keep his head straight. But then he gets into this part where he says, behold, these are the wicked, always at ease. They increase in riches. All in vain have I kept my heart clean and washed my hands of innocence. For all the day long I have been stricken and rebuked every morning. You know, and so he gets to this point where he's looking at the world that's just living it up. And he's doing the spiritual thing, going to temple every day, doing the worship thing, going home, keeping his thing clean, going to church the next day, you know, doing the worship thing, setting up all the stuff in the temple, going home. I mean, it's a pretty, you know, minimalistic lifestyle. And then he's bogged down by this weight of responsibility, and he's looking at everybody else in the world, and they don't have that. They're happy.
Yeah.
They're rich. You know, they don't have God. How can they be successful and rich? And they're wearing their pride around their neck like a necklace, he says later on. And then he said, if I came to you, God, and expressed these things, I'd be like a brute beast before you. Like, so that seems to me like there's resentment. Would you say it's resentment towards the world or resentment towards God or both? What do you do when your resentment is a little bit more abstract than, Greg, you did something to me that I'm now harboring resentment? You know, this is the world or God. How do you deal with that? For instance, somebody that I know, their father died, and they're blaming God. What do you do with that? A lot of resentment towards God. Died of COVID, so it wasn't like a long-term COVID disease or anything like that.
I think what's encouraging about that passage, in a way, though, is to know that it's not just like growing up or living in an affluent society, right? Like, in a sense, this has been the human struggle for a long time. Is, you know, wanting something else besides God, wanting something else but what God has given us, right? And then, like you said, having that general resentment. And boy, I don't know, because I don't know if I would call it resentment. I don't think I've ever, but like, yeah, when like going on vacation or going out west, and you look, man, there are just some homes out there. And you know, we stopped at this festival out in the mountains. It was just kind of like a town festival, and the kids were playing at the park, and one of the girls were talking to some girl, and she said they flew in from Denver. You know, it's like a 2-hour drive, but they flew in from Denver. Man. And she's like, "Oh, we drove from Minnesota." You know, and it's like I don't know where these people, you know, where they are with the Lord, but it doesn't really matter. But in ways, you can easily get, especially if you do ministry, you can easily resent people. You know, it's like, goodness.
That's resent the church.
You can resent the church. You can resent the people.
You know, a lot of people have walked away from the church with resentment.
Yeah, or you've as you know, in pastoring or working in the church, you've invested a lot into people, and then one little thing, they're like, "Oh, we're out of here."
Yeah,
and that can build resentment quickly.
We cut you off. What were you going to say, Greg?
No, I was thinking when you were talking about going to the temple and going home, like. You know, my first thought is like we work at a church. Like there's days like everybody else, who don't feel like going to work. Like there's Sundays I'm sure you feel like I don't feel like going this morning, like leading worship this morning. I mean, just like everyone else, you're going to your job in some sense. But yeah, that's all I was going to say. It was just kind of funny. But I think, and to your point, what you mentioned earlier, Mike, was exactly what I was thinking. Is like it's just a human struggle. And I say this often, but I love that stuff like this is in the Bible. It's like the Bible's not pulling any punches. It's not trying to pretend like life is always cheery and happy. And I mean, we tend to gravitate toward those things and like the blessings and the good things we get from a relationship with God. But at the end of the day, we're also still human, and we go through these types of emotions and these types of things. And the Bible speaks to all of them and includes all of them. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, it's nothing new what he's describing. Or it's nothing new for us. It's like he's describing it thousands of years ago. So, I don't know.
So, how do you deal with it then? You got to the point where you're able to recognize a little bit, maybe, because it's a complex, I guess what I would call it from my very minimal amount of education in psychology. Like I've studied a little bit, took a few classes. It'd be what's called a complex emotion. Complex emotion is a mixture of a bunch of different things: anger, pride, fear, all sorts of different things. And the concoction makes resentment. Resentment isn't just one feeling. But after you've sort of recognized it a little bit, because I think that's the first step, is to, especially when it comes to just you, how do you recognize it? What do you do after you recognize it? How do you deal with it?
So I'm preaching on peace this week. Shalom. So like that's where all my head is right now. Like
Shalom, my brother.
Shalom. And I haven't finished writing it yet, but, and not to sound cliche, because it's not. I just think the only way you can, or the primary way, I guess, you can deal with it is, and again, this won't sound cliche, but you have to commune with God. You have to be in the presence of God. And whether it's through prayer, whether it's through worship, whether it's through meditation, like I just don't know any other way to deal with something of resentment. Or, I mean, there are steps you can probably take with somebody and kind of walk through that. But speaking, that example earlier, where you just kind of have this general resentment towards the world, and maybe towards your lot in life in a way, is because I think getting into the presence of God and communing with Him. And it doesn't mean, oftentimes, and we see this through Scripture, it doesn't mean your circumstance is going to get any better necessarily. There's plenty of examples of that, but how do you see all those examples of Scripture where somebody's, where their circumstance was bad, but yet there was clearly peace. There was clearly this sense of they weren't resentful, they weren't angry, they weren't fearful.
Well, I think even for a non-believer, someone that doesn't like read the Bible or believe, or read Scripture or believe it or whatever, you could just see that in people too, like in the world. We all know people who have had a horrible upbringing, gone through terrible tragedy, and somehow they're at peace with it and they're friendly. And we all know people who get to fly to somewhere that should be a 2-hour drive, and they're angry and they're they seem like they have it all, and they're angry and empty. Because I think the communing, spending time with God, it regardless of circumstance, it changes your viewpoint, right? He kind of changes your heart and your mind toward whatever is going on, good or bad. I think something practical for me is anytime I feel like something like life is unfair or whatever for me, I just always try to go push extra toward serving others, or and it's not even like go downtown and work in the homeless shelter. It's like just even with my family or with people around, just try to, and that's hard, but try to remind yourself that you're like not the most important person in the world, and I think it's just easy to get in those ruts where we think everything is about me, and
that's really good,
hard.
actually. I mean, I think because when you're, that's a very practical thing to do that you just said there. I think that's phenomenal, because when you're doing something for somebody else, you're getting your mind off of yourself. And just, I mean, Jesus, how many times did Jesus go into the mountains, right, to pray, just kind of separate himself, right, from whatever was going on? And in this case, it's like if you're busy with your hands or serving somebody else, you're getting outside of yourself, right? And that can really help bring a different perspective.
The end of Psalm 73, which is that psalm with Asaph, he said exactly what you did. He's like, this is all going out of control. And then it says, until I entered the sanctuary of God. Then he says, I've understood their final destiny, or whatever it was. Perspective change. So yeah, what happens when you get alone with God, just like Jesus did, just like Asaph, just like a number of other examples, is he reworks your brain. He reworks your heart, and he gives you a renewed perspective. And I like the serving thing. I think for me is trying to find ways to be grateful and express gratitude.
That's good.
Is probably when I feel myself get resentful. I try to focus on gratitude. And it's kind of the strategy of 2 Corinthians 10, which is to take every thought captive, make it obedient to Christ. It's like every moment, I think you can find a way to look at it and 3D, move it around and say, I can find some way to express gratitude in the situation.
That's one passage I gladly take out of context all the time, because the context is more like for doctrine, right? But I do that all the time, like bad thoughts or something. It's like,
it works.
take it captive, make it
You
obedient
can take it
to
out of
Christ,
context,
right?
but it still works for the
right.
Christian life, I think.
You take that out of context, that works that time.
That's like that's like the exact conversation we had in the car. Because if you're in the car for thousands of miles with your kids, there's a lot of things that come up, right? And we were talking about that. Find the positive. Can you find the positive in the situation? You know, and we had a long discussion about that as a family, because things can spiral out of control. You know, kids get upset, then you respond with anger. Then there's tears, and there's and so it's like, can we just start with finding the positive? I like how you say that. I'm actually going to use that sometime as an analogy. I'm going to grab something and be like, let's look at this from a 3D perspective.
So what do you do? How do you help somebody? Have you ever met anybody who's lived with resentment about something in particular for so long? They don't want to feel that way, but they don't know how to get out of it. Have you ever come across anybody like that? How do you help somebody like that? What do you do? Is there a way to help them?
I suppose it kind of depends on what they're
resentful?
resenting, what they resent. But I don't know.
I mean, ironically enough, I would think the bigger one, like my dad died and I resent God for it.
Yeah.
To me, that would actually almost be an easier one than to help them with something that they're more trivial.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Right, somebody stole a business deal from them or something, right?
Yeah.
And that person really succeeded with this stolen business deal. Like, that would be,
like,
to your
say
point.
20 years later, they're still carrying that around.
Yeah,
but they realized I've wasted a lot of my just life essence being resentful about this. I want to move on. I just don't know how to move on. Like, help me, Mike.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to
this is why I failed most of my counseling classes in college. I don't know.
How does that make you feel?
Yeah.
I don't know. I struggle with that myself. So when you figure it out, let me know. Yeah. Pastoral care was, I'm sure you're good at it, Greg, but I was not good at it.
I pretend to be, but no. I was going to say with your friend, that's such a hard one, because it's one of those things, it's the reality of life, a broken world, right? I mean, tragedy happens. maybe it depends on their age. Like, I mean, someone that loses a parent at a very young age, it's like, man, it seems more tragic than someone that,
I think he's about
but-
our age.
but still, like, it's sudden, it's a unexpected, tragic circumstance. And you can't just say, well, these things happen, right?
No.
But we all know that's the reality of the world we live in. That can, anytime something like that can happen, but that doesn't really help. Yeah, it's a hard one. I mean, I think you just understand that they could be hurt still and for a long time. The grieving process sometimes could take a long time.
Long time.
Time
And-
does not heal all wounds.
No,
I hate that
no,
cliche.
I
it's
think
cliche.
telling the advice, I guess maybe I would start with this advice. I would say just be honest with God. It's okay. I mean, David was honest.
Asaph.
Was. There's a lot of honesty in Scripture. I don't like this God.
Yeah.
I'm mad that this happened. God's big enough; He can handle it, right? I think we'll start there, and that might be a 6-month process of just saying I don't like it and being honest, and that's probably where I would start, because I think, like to your point, you just said like, oh, well, bad things happen. I mean
Right.
that doesn't help
Right.
anybody.
No, it
Like,
doesn't. But
Yeah.
I think it kind of depends on what they're resenting, and is it real resentment? Is it real anger, like extended? Or is it really just working through that grief process? And to me, it's just you come alongside them, and also I think we need to get comfortable with saying I don't know. Like, I don't know why God would allow that to happen, because I think as Christians, as pastors, I mean, we're supposed to have the answers, right? It's like at the end of the day, we don't always have the answers. And I remember seeing this guy. I don't remember what his name was. He was like an English guy, like an Anglican priest or something. And I think it was a TED Talk, and I think it was following the tsunami in India, like Sri Lanka. When was that? Like early 2000s?
I don't know.
It
I
like-
was in there like
So
4 months before it happened.
Really?
And the island I was on got
Yeah.
just wiped away.
wow.
Yeah.
it's crazy. But I remember him saying that, getting asked this question, why would God allow, what was it, like 200,000 people? I mean, it was a huge
Yeah.
amount of people die. And he's like, I don't know. Like, and sometimes I don't know. And, TED Talk, it's like 20 minutes. You're going to go and tackle this in 20 minutes, but
I want to do a TED Talk where all I say for 20 minutes is I don't know.
I don't know.
Just to kind of slow everybody down. Let's
Yeah.
let's all say this together.
I'd probably walk out, but I would definitely not
I'm gonna go
watch.
find somebody who does know. Where's the one that the guy does know?
This is, people are supposed to know things here. Yeah. We need to be comfortable with saying I don't know, and just walking alongside people, and praying with them and doing what we can to help them through it.
How about this line? We'll sneak peek here. I wrote this down. The peace of God changes us before it changes our circumstances.
Yeah. See, that's what I would said more eloquently than my thought earlier. But
Did you write that?
That's what I came
Yeah.
up with. The 12 hours on the road.
That's good. No, it's true.
Took me 12 hours to come up with
But I
that
think
one.
our mindset changes way before our circumstances do.
Yeah.
That's spending time with God. He changes your mindset. You're just the way you think about things, the way you approach things, the way you view things, all that.
I like the answer of I don't know, and I think you're right. I think as in your ministry, and you right away maybe go to a theological answer.
Right.
Like, well, I mean,
Yeah.
none of us deserve our next breath, so
Yeah.
the very fact that
Right.
5 billion or 7 billion people didn't die,
Right.
and only 200 did is it's like
Right.
that's just an
Right.
insanely stupid answer,
Yeah.
right? And it's easy to go
But people
theological,
give it.
right? It's like
Yeah.
but I don't know is far more accurate. I don't know. I don't know why God allowed this to happen.
I've shared this before, but I had a seminary professor say, don't be afraid to say you don't know. That way people can trust you when you do.
Yeah.
When you do say, you say you do know, then they
Right.
could trust you. If you're willing to say, I don't know the answer to that, like, you're going to be more trustworthy when you say, I do know the answer to this. And it's not an easy one. So, anyway.
So I think this resentment, I don't know, the only way you get over it is, again, like Asaph's getting in the presence of God. And I think what Greg said too, like finding a way to serve, finding a way to get outside of yourself. Because, man, the more you just let something boil on the inside, oof. That's why heart attacks happen.
No matter what you're going through, there's always people that are worse
That
off.
and Chick-fil-A no, not Chick-fil-A.
You know how I get
Christian.
over feeling bad for
In-N-Out
myself?
Burger.
Whenever I feel bad for myself, I watch Cops. I feel so much better about myself. Yeah. Oh man,
Sad day when they took that off the
I
air.
used to love that show.
Yeah.
It also has.
want?
It's
What
also
you
why I
want?
have a rational fear of German Shepherds. 'Cause
For watching
I watch too much
Cops.
Cops. Yeah. When they
You
just,
met my Kaya, didn't you?
No, I didn't get too close.
Oh, she's the sweetest thing.
Yeah, sure. You accidentally say one word in German, and then she's gonna.
She doesn't know German. She knew Spanish.
Really?
Jackson knows
Yeah.
Japanese.
See.
Yeah.
So, did you guys do a podcast last week?
Yep. Talked with Jeremy
Yeah.
Peterson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I haven't heard Greg's how you're doing with Sully.
Scully.
What about?
Scully passing away.
Vin.
Vin Scully passing away.
Oh, that's hard, man. That's like
Yeah.
the voice of my childhood.
I know.
My whole life. That's what's crazy about him. He's the voice of my dad's life. Like,
Yeah.
What's that quote? It all sound. All I hear is Vin.
What?
You heard that?
Mm-mm.
I
All I
thought it
hear
was.
is Vin?
I thought it was a quote.
Oh, maybe.
It was like a baseball quote.
You
And it
just
says,
made it a quote.
all I hear is
Yeah.
Vin with,
Yeah.
with the microphone.
Yeah. Well, so it used to be you go to Dodger games like as a kid when we'd go. And this is how it was from, the 50s through more modern times. But you'd hear the radio in the stadium. At the game, everyone would have like a little radio, and you'd hear play-by-play going.
Yeah.
At the time, you'd hear Vince Scully. He not only Dodger games, but he was like you'd hear him in commercials, and so it was just we had
Don't you think
Yeah,
we should
4 or
start the
5
podcast
channels.
with like it's time
yeah
for the podcast?
it's time for something. Oh, okay.
You
So
ever
the
seen that?
quote you're talking about is just a T-shirt that you saw.
That's a good
Yeah.
T-shirt.
Yeah.
It's a sticker. It's on a mug.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he was. A lot of people don't realize, like, he was the voice of the Masters for many years.
Well,
He
see,
was-
that's the one thing I didn't realize is I was watching some stuff on
football,
him. Like,
too, right?
Yeah,
Was it
like
football?
he was there for the catch.
Yep, he called the catch.
He was
not Jack
Bill
Clark.
Buckner when the ball went between Bill
Yeah.
Buckner's legs. He's like some iconic calls that was. I mean,
Well, he's
obviously,
national baseball like
The game of the
broadcaster
week, right?
For in the most of the '80s, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, he stopped
Where was he
doing
born?
that, but he's New York.
New York guy.
He's a New York guy.
Because he started with Brooklyn
Mhm.
Dodgers.
young, like 20s, right?
25. He called the World Series at age 25.
But wasn't his first thing a college football game?
Yep.
Yep.
On the roof at Fenway. Broadcasting from the roof
Fenway.
at Fenway
It's
Park.
crazy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and he's lots of sports, but Farmer John was like meat, company in based out of Southern California, and he did all their commercials. Farmer John, 76 gas station there for many years because they were a big sponsor of the Dodgers. It's just, I don't know, you would hear him all the time, and we had, you had 4 channels growing up for
Yeah,
the most part,
right.
And so chances are you're going to catch one of those commercials at some time.
Yeah. Or a
But-
Cubs game.
Or a Cubs game if you had cable. But we would, if you weren't watching the game on TV, it was on the radio.
Yeah.
And they would do where, he would switch off. He'd do 3 innings on the radio and then go back to TV, and their broadcast team would switch off. But my grandma always had the Dodgers on. My my dad always had baseball on, and then growing up, it's just, I don't know, he's just a part of life. So, and he's the most constant thing in all of sports. I mean, being with the same team for 60 plus years, and how many players remain on the same team for like 5 years? I mean, players jump teams and get traded, and managers leave, and so just to have that constant for that long, it's interesting. No one really thought about it until like a couple of years. I would hear people kind of talking about he was probably the most famous guy in LA, most well known, between him and Magic Johnson, but really probably the most popular person in LA. Like everybody loves Vin.
Right.
Even people make fun of him. Oh, he's boring. Oh, he talks too much. Oh, he's like, it was like you just. That was kind of a knock, but I don't know. He's Vin.
One thing I liked about him is he knew how to like just be quiet too.
Oh yeah.
There were times
Just
where
let
he
the
just
crowd-
let the game,
Yeah.
just let you listen to the game, and he never over talked a moment. Like some broadcasters, they feel like they have to over, commentate like a big moment. Just let it happen.
Yeah.
Ben was always good at taking a step back and just hearing the sound of the game and the crowd and all that stuff.
The Hank Aaron's record-breaking homer, the commentary on there is amazing because it's like he really captured the moment, just the social climate. In the 70s.
Was that against the Dodgers? Or
Yeah,
was he
it was against the Dodgers.
Okay.
Yeah, and in Atlanta, and he's like in the South. It was in the 70s, right?
Yeah,
When
yeah.
did Hank Aaron do that. Imagine in the South a black man who had death threats and everything for, when he's getting close to Babe Ruth's record. Just that call was amazing. People always point to the Sandy Koufax perfect game call as like the pinnacle of sports broadcasting because, and I heard him talk about it. He said somewhere along the line he realized people are mostly just listening to this on the radio, and maybe it's gotten picked up nationally because it's the bottom of the ninth in a perfect game. But he started saying the time, and he gave the date stamp, like he'd give the date, and then he's like, at each pitch, he's like at 9:02 p.m. or whatever, strike two, and then every once in a while he'd interject the time, and he was just poetic and so descriptive of what's going on. And when you're listening on the radio, it just really gave you the picture of, you could picture the game, you could see the field, you could see the players, and any good broadcaster does that. It's just, I don't know, he's very poetic.
No, not everyone.
Not everyone. I said any good broadcast. That's your job. You're describing what's happening,
I
right?
think they showed the last out of that perfect game.
Yep.
I think on the Dodger broadcast
Yep.
like a week
They
ago
did.
or so.
Yeah.
And they were saying, go listen to the whole last inning.
Yeah.
That whole inning.
So you had him, who's professional and like the master, right?
Yeah.
And then you had Harry Carey, who was just having a hoot in the.
Right.
He was.
He's just bringing the party, right?
He was he was just a fan with a microphone and a beer.
But it's awesome on a different level.
Right.
Like his, it's just fun. Yeah. Used to watch him every day too. Roll out of bed during the summer in high school and
No one's ever gonna accuse
turn
him
on
of being
WGN.
poetic.
No. But he was, awesome on a totally different level.
Yeah.
Just fun.
Yeah.
When you're younger, you don't realize he just blitzed.
Because I heard more.
Until you get older, like, oh, he's like that in the seventh. Oh, he's a little more vocal and crazy in the seventh inning than he was in the first. I get it now.
Right.
Yeah, he's been knocking a few back during this whole game.
Because I remember, being here in the Midwest with WGN, it was more Harry Carey Cubs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, WGN was everywhere.
We had it too.
Was it WGN? Okay.
had it.
But
We
we
had
didn't have
WGN and
Dodger
TBS.
baseball games here.
No, but WGN and TBS were both like, they were local channels still, but they're broadcast nationally.
Yeah.
Now they're more of a cable network, right? But you had WGN. That's why Cubs were always my second favorite. Well, maybe third, because I like the Angels. Angels and Dodgers were never a rivalry growing up until the Angels won in 2002. They won the World Series, and Angel fans got obnoxious. And then all of a sudden it's like a rivalry. It's not, but it's more like a brother, younger brother kind of relationship. But it's like Thor and Loki. That's Angels and Dodgers. Thor and Loki.
Eight.
Yeah. But the Cubs were always like up there on my list because you could watch them every day. They played daytime baseball for the most part. And on the West Coast, that meant 11 o'clock.
Right.
So we'd get up in the morning. Me and my sisters, we'd watch like The Price is Right. And I don't know, like I remember I
Days
used
of
to
Our
watch
Lives.
Who's the Boss reruns. My sisters watched Days of Our Lives, but 11 o'clock, 11:05 or 11:10, whatever game time was, the Cubs are on. And it's like, this is great,
Yeah.
you know. So then they started playing more night games too. So I don't know. We're like old men here
Yeah.
talking about how things were.
Well, I gotta fly.
Always
Are we
circles
doing
back
church
to
news?
circles back to baseball. Yeah, we'll do some news, but if you need to go,
I do.
should join us this weekend, this Sunday. Mike Stella's going to be preaching.
Yeah.
You're leading worship.
Yep, I'll be there. Greg's doing the family business,
Yes.
Am I?
so we're all three of us are going to be part of the service.
Can't wait.
Am I? He
Circus.
says.
Give me like a circus up there.
Um,
You guys will do great. I'll be like
Whatever.
the clown.
We should just do our podcast.
Floundering
one day.
Yeah, we
around.
should. Just get the tables up there at camera.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, hello, everybody. Yeah.
We,
Then get some weird question about resentment. And
Weird question. What are you talking about? Weird question.
we get two of the smartest people on planet Earth having a discussion about resentment and ask me, like, well, what do you think of this? Like,
Who's this? What are you talking
Yeah.
about? Two of the
Lex
smartest
Friedman
people.
and Douglas Murray.
oh,
I,
say, I would agree with you on the one of the smartest people on earth is here, but
They
comment
just,
on their conversation.
But it
All
was
right.
it was a side piece. The main thing that they were talking about, which I don't even remember. All I remember was hearing them talking about resentment. So yeah. Anyway, if you guys have any thoughts,
Yeah.
put in the comment
well, I hope you
section.
don't resent me that I have to leave.
I'll get over it.
Okay.
Except for you just have who shaved you this morning? Did your
What do you mean?
kid shave you?
Why is it really bad?
There's a big old patch
Is
there?
right here?
right at your. the
Did you
corner.
shave?
from
You don't look like
yesterday.
you shaved. You just did the trimmer.
It's
Yeah,
right,
Right. Oh, I see it. now.
right there.
Right there.
There you go. You missed it.
That is bad.
It's hilarious.
Well, that's why I got my left. You can't see my left side
Yeah.
on camera right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out.
I've been looking at it all podcast.
Now I'm resenting how you made me
Get
feel.
out of here.
I'm gonna go home and cry now.
Yeah, do it,
Right.
baby.
Yeah, put your PJs back on. Get back to
You
work.
turn that off. I did. Okay. Here, I'll take it.
All righty.
All right,
Thanks,
Mike.
man.
We'll see you on
this
Sunday.
weekend. Now I can have my end seat back. Stuck in the
Greg's
middle.
resenting you for taking the end.
So
Wait, what?
what? Nope, you got
It
it.
was in your hand. All right, Greg. How we doing?
For what?
Just in general.
Doing all right.
You're doing well?
Yeah.
Happy birthday to your dad. A
Oh, yeah,
late.
85,
Was
2
it
days ago.
2 days ago?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He's happy birthday, Dad. 85 years old. That's a long, good life. It's a lot of years, man. 85.
I only hope to be able to live that long.
Yeah. He had his. My mom just kept saying he's so happy. He's just in heaven because they had hamburgers and hot dogs for dinner. Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
What do we got for? Got a lot of stuff coming up. And so, if you made it this far listening to us, don't shut it off because there's some really good stuff that you're going to want to know, and it's going to be brought to you by Greg.
Yeah. One more thing about my dad and Vin Scully,
Oh,
because my dad was the one that called me to tell me Vin Scully died. We were up north in the cabin, and he called. It was like 10 at night. He called. He's like, Vin Scully passed away. I was like, oh man. But we were talking, and he said he remembered when the Dodgers were moving to LA from New York. That was part of the news. Like that was part of the big deal. Is like, and he says he remembers them saying, and Vin Scully's coming with them. Like, so he was already known then. You know, I mean that's the 50s. So anyway, I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah. So family, news and events. I just read the word family on here and it messed me up. So, hey, biggest thing right now before we get to Sunday is we got the the camp out this weekend, church camp out.
Starting today.
Starts today. I know it's not the greatest camping weather, but that's why you have a tent, right?
Well, a lot of people have their
or the trailer to get out of the elements. So anyway, I know there'll be a good crew out there, but part of that is Saturday evening at 6 p.m. in the lake. We got some baptisms, and we got, was it 6? I think 6 people getting baptized, was it? I saw the list yesterday. 5 or 6.
Maybe does that include the newest one from today?
No, there's another one today.
Another one
7.
added on today.
Okay, cool. So
This morning.
Believers baptism at 6 o'clock in Lake Independence. That's the lake at Baker Park where the camp out is. And yeah, we have just a little time there, and come join us. It'll be fun. Anyone's welcome. You don't have to be camping. You could just go down and join the time and celebrate the baptism of 7, maybe.
You gonna go out there?
Plus. Yeah,
Yeah?
I'll be out there.
You can bring your whole family?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Believe that's the plan. So,
Believe it.
yeah.
You're not camping though.
No, we're not camping.
Okay.
Actually, Jordan's mom wanted to try to make it work and like have us camp, but there's just Jordan's in her, like today she's in her classroom. It's just this time of year. It's just hard. She's got stuff going, and
Well, how does Tracy Filstrom do it? Because isn't she getting her stuff ready for school?
Yeah, but yeah.
So this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then they pack up Sunday is the camping.
Yeah.
Saturday at 6 is the baptism. It should be awesome.
So what are we doing with the baptism? Are you doing a couple songs or not? I think I asked
Brad
before.
Martin's actually going to be out there.
Oh, Brad's out.
He's going to lead.
Are they camping out there?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Brad and Cindy, they have a, what do you call those, campers?
Yeah.
Trailer.
So he's going to lead some.
So yeah, I asked him if he could do it. Just
So a little bit of worship music, a little.
Yep. We're going to
singing
get together at the far right, kind of towards where the boat launch is. Not the separated area, boat launch parking lot area, but as far as you can go with the beach side. There is a little boat launch ramp.
I know. Yeah. Sometimes it's grown over.
A little bit, but we did it there once years ago. Were you there?
Yeah.
You were?
I've been there before.
The far right side. I think
No.
Paul Briggs had his dog, the brand new puppy.
Really?
Remember that?
I don't remember that.
Okay. So anyway, that's where we'll be.
I didn't miss a year, though. That's weird, because when would that have been?
I don't remember. I know one of those years we went out there together.
Yeah,
And we
'cause it
stopped
was
at
after Saturday night.
We stopped at McDonald's on the way home.
Yeah. Hey, McDonald's, it's a lot like Taco Bell. You're kind of like, all right, yeah, I'll eat. And then you never feel good about the decision later.
No.
It's just always, feel gross. I took some middle school kids, 3 boys, to McDonald's the other day for lunch after we were helping someone move. I told them I'd feed them. And the only thing, we were in St. Michael, and it's like there's really no fast food there other than McDonald's. And I mean, it's like, all right, yeah. And then an hour later, you're like, just feel greasy and feel gross. And anyway, there you go. I remember that.
Next up.
Yeah, all right.
What do we got?
Riveting. Hey, I got something called a small group leader rally. If you are a small group leader, please join us August 28th, Sunday evening, here at the church for dinner and some encouragement and just getting geared up for this ministry season this fall with small groups. But not just if you're a small group leader, but if you have ever thought about being a small group leader and want to know what that entails and what we're about, you are welcome to that as well. So if you want any info or have any questions about that, email me, greggt@nrf.life. Greg G T GREGGT@nrf.life. GREGGT@nrf.life. All right. Men's retreat coming up. There's sign-ups for that. You could sign up on the Trout Lake website, but let us know if you're going, if you are going to attend that, because guys carpool and we could stay in the same facility. So I believe you're supposed to list rustic cabin. If I haven't looked at that this year, to be honest, but
Choose
usually
rustic housing.
See, I told you I was good. Oh, they're going to have a huge bonfire.
Bonfire.
So if you're a heretic, no, just kidding.
If you have no idea what we're talking about,
Yeah, just ignore it. Men's retreat. I went a few years ago. It's a great time. It's a lot of fun. It's Trout Lake does a great job. So you may have seen some of the guys passing out little invites right in here in the atrium before and between services the last couple of weeks. But if you have any questions about that, you could talk to me, or if you know Jay Vandenheide or Paul Jonason or Jeff Ekstrand, who was a men's ministry leader in years past, but is also kind of facilitating this retreat. Scott Whitman, if you know him, or Josh Zahosky's gone, or if you have questions about it. So that's always a good time, though. That's coming up. Block Party, of course, September 10th, one of our biggest outreach events of the year. Just a lot of fun, a lot of great activity. The community comes out because we invite them. So invite your family, invite your friends and neighbors.
11 to 3.
Everything's free, 11 to 3, Saturday, September 10th. It's always a beautiful day. It better be this year, or else you'll blame me. But we're doing a luau theme.
Yeah,
You're a fan of the luau theme.
I am.
Well, you're a fan of Hawaii.
I love Hawaii.
Yeah.
See my new hat?
Yeah,
It's got Hawaiian Islands on it.
it does.
Yeah.
All 12 of them. How many islands are there?
I don't know.
Yeah, there's only like 5 that have
I'm going to
names
say
that we know.
7 that,
Hawaii, Oahu,
yep,
Molokai,
yep,
Kauai,
yep.
Lanai.
Lanai?
What am I missing?
Did you say Maui?
No,
You didn't say Maui?
no.
Yeah, Maui.
I thought Maui's a city on a different island.
No, it's an island.
Is it?
Yep. Yeah, I can't think
What
of
else?
them.
That's 6. What are the two that's
There's
off?
8 on here.
There's off the coast of. There's 2 right off the coast of Kauai that are like
Yeah,
you're
I
not
don't
allowed
know.
to go to. There's like
I don't know if
like
some of
a
'em
tribe there that
Yeah,
will kill you if you go on shore, unless you have special permission. They're very. The guy was telling us about it. They're very, like, fundamental religious.
well, Molokai is considered the most traditional island, but you can definitely go there.
Yeah, no, these 2 islands, it's like they're closed. They're not. Yeah, he made a joke because we were on a dinner cruise going to the north shore of Kauai, and he said that's Australia and New Zealand off over there, because there's one big one and one little one, so it was kind of funny. Anyway, that's
8
Hawaii.
major islands.
Okay,
So
does it list them? What did we miss? Well, Andy's looking up the geography.
Nihoa, Nihiawa. I don't know how to pronounce this.
Uhual?
Kauai, Molokai,
Uhaua?
Maui, Oahu.
No, that's U-Haul.
Hawaii. Then they have all these other islands.
Yeah. Is that Kyrie?
Kauai,
Oh, no, on the the far left.
Kube.
Oh, I heard a comedian years ago talk about how he went on a trip to Hawaii, and then when you come back from Hawaii, you start like seeing other words on just random things, and you just think it's Hawaiian. And he's like I saw this truck, and the side of the truck said, "Ooh, haul," and someone's like, "It says U-Haul."
You have to pronounce every vowel.
Pronounce all the vowels.
Yeah.
Anyway, so where were we? Okay, the
Hawaii
block party.
themed block party.
Yeah. So
11 to 3.
Hawaiian theme,
It's all
11-3,
free.
September 10th, free.
Roasting a pig.
Roasting a couple of pigs.
Couple pigs.
Got some garlic shrimp maybe.
Gonna make some
happening.
garlic shrimp.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to bring a can of Spam. If no one else is making Spam.
I could dump some into your shrimp if you want.
We got to have Spam. It's Hawaii.
I'm gonna have this
Spam and shrimp.
Blackstone griddle.
It's a classic combo.
Bring the Spam and you can throw it on the griddle.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, if you don't like
This is my
shellfish,
first time. I'm super nervous, by the way. This is my first time going to be cooking for a large.
You should be.
I should be.
You should be nervous. A lot of food critics out there. Someone might show up like who's the English guy that yells at all the on the TV shows?
The kitchen guy.
Yeah.
Kitchen Nightmare.
What's his name?
I don't know.
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
If he shows up,
Yeah. He's gonna yell at you.
but that means there's something worthy of being.
Yeah,
yelled
whatever.
at.
He's gonna yell.
If he shows up, I'm gonna quit leading worship and become a chef. Have you
He will-
seen?
The Bear? Yes, I've started watching the first episode.
Did we talk about that already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I had to turn it off because Jordan was
that's
like,
right,
"Oh, this
because
is too
he
much."
talked about it on the Battle Ready podcast.
Yeah.
It's a great.
I need to keep watching. I kind of forgot to pick up on it, but because Jordan was like, "I can't do."
We
this.
are
They're
talking
yelling
about.
too
It's
much."
called The
So,
Bear. It's a show on Hulu about being in the kitchen. It's a
yeah.
great show.
I thought it was the way I heard it talked about. I thought it was a reality show.
No.
I was kind of expecting that.
No,
it's
it's
not. It's written like drama.
Yep.
Right, but supposed to be really good.
Yep.
So I've got about 20 minutes into the first episode, and there's a lot of yelling and anger.
Yeah, well, my brother said it because he's worked in the service industry and the restaurant industry for 26 years, and he said it's real. It's
Yeah.
like it's legit. That's what
I
it's
could
like
see it, yeah.
being in the kitchen. And so yeah, there's a lot of yelling.
All right, yet another thing that we can't recommend people watch, but
Yeah,
what was it last week? Jeremy said that, or you said. Anyway, you guys watch terrible stuff. Moving on. Block party, lots of fun things. Free.
we need people to help.
Yes, there's lots to do.
When we know you guys' game, where you wait till the very last second,
Yeah.
but we're asking you, we're begging you,
to not wait till
pleading
last
with
second.
you. If you know that you're going to be here and you're able to help out, sign up today,
Yeah.
please.
Yep. Go to the news and events.
It'll really
page.
help.
Sign up.
Terry and Steph. I need a few people to help me with my station. I think I need 3 other people.
Yep.
Come help me serve up some garlic shrimp. It's gonna be It's gonna be awesome.
You know, when you work in the kitchen, you get to test. You get the first bite. You always eat, right? So, anyway, go to the block party image on our news and events page. Click the little plus below there, and you could, expand the menu. Has all the info there. Oh yeah, live music by Concrete Jesus. They were here last year. It was a lot of fun.
Games for the kids.
Games for the kids, activities, a hula
shaved ice.
lesson.
Do we
Right.
get shaved ice?
I don't know. We should. A
hula-
Hawaiian shirt or Hawaiian outfit contest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I just bought a new T-shirt for the block party.
T-shirt.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear while I cook.
Cool. What kind of T-shirt? What's it have on it? Just Hawaii or?
Pineapple.
Oh, okay.
Aloha.
Cool.
It's not like a Hawaiian shirt. I don't know if I'd ever wear
A Hawaiian
a
shirt.
flowered Hawaiian hibiscus shirt
Yeah.
or something like that.
So, but if you scroll down on that, where you click, you could see this event needs. There's items that we could use that we could borrow if you have it. You can let us borrow different things like that. So it's gonna be a lot of
That's
fun. though.
donations and to sign up to serve.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, anywho, Discovering Northridge coming up. If you want to sign up for that, there's limited spots for that. That is a 8-week small group format that Ben and Terry host. Just all about who we are, why we do the things we do, how we started. It's the track. If you want to become a member of the church, you got to go through Discovering Northridge. You could go through it and you don't have to be a member of the church, but it's actually really good. And encourage you, if you've been around Northridge for a while at all, to look into that. We offer that a few times a year, but this one begins September 20th, and space is limited for that. That's one of the few things that we say, like, we can only take X amount of people because it's a space issue. Ben and Terry used to always host it in their home. I think it's going to be in their home as long as we don't need
It's dependent on
childcare.
childcare.
Yeah, if we need childcare, we'll do it here. But anyway, hey, we're hiring, Andy.
We are.
We got a couple positions open. So you should talk about that.
It's funny because I've had a lot of people text me and message me after seeing the post
Yeah.
that we're hiring a new
Oh.
worship leader.
Did you get fired?
They're like, "Are you leaving?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah, where are you
like,
leaving? Yeah,
seriously,
yeah,
like
yeah.
6 people.
Yeah.
I'm
Sweet.
not. I'm not leaving yet until they, ask me to leave. I'll still be here, but we're looking to hire a part-time worship leader, and that will help. I just think it'll be great all around. It'll create some more variance than just having me. There's a lot of other environments that we want to have worship leading in, the youth on Sunday mornings, Wednesday nights. And so we're going to be hiring a part-timer. And we have the post up there here at the website. We also have it at churchstaffing.com.
Yeah.
I put it up on a couple places on Facebook and groups that I'm in. So yeah, if you know anybody or are interested, you can go to the website and click on "We're hiring open staff positions" and submit a resume there. Or if you know anybody, just share that link with them. And then we're also looking for interns, worship interns, both for people to fulfill their credit requirements for whatever degree program they're in. Even if they're not in a worship leading degree program, but have worship leading experience, and maybe it's something they've always want to do on this, as a volunteer, but they just need internship hours. I'd still listen to to them.
We got internship internship opportunities in most ministries. If
Youth,
you need an internship,
kids,
communications.
Yep. So
Yeah.
Click on news and events, look down for the open staff position link, and that'll bring you to a few different things.
Yeah. So, a few things going on. I think that maybe covers it for now. I don't know. We got Kairos Course next week. I think you could still sign up for that. We've talked about the Kairos Course, but it's a great course that goes through God's Word and just His heart for the world, and very missions focused, led by Matt Hutchcraft. And so there's info there. But then also this weekend is the Meet the Cassis stuff. So
they'll be in town.
Our missionaries, our mission partners from Austria, that will be in town.
Yep.
So.
They're going to be hanging out with the youth and kids during the services. We're going to show a little video during the family business, kind of introducing people to the Cassis. But then there's a lunch after the 10:30 service. Don't need RSVP. You can just show up. Where you do a little more of a meet and greet Q&A time.
Yeah.
And so if you're interested in that, you should join them.
Yep. Sweet.
Yep. Oh, one last thing is related to Cities Cop Church. They're having a 1-year celebration from when they launched a year ago. That's going to be October 2nd, that anybody from Northridge can be a part of. Anybody from Northridge can actually help with the celebration. I'm going to Cities Cop Church this Sunday night to lead worship for one of their services.
Yeah.
Anybody who wants to come out with me should and can come with me and join me out of Bethel.
Sweet.
And then Glenn Hirschberger, in my conversations with him about this weekend leading worship there, we're going to have him on the podcast at some point, probably before the 1-year celebration.
Okay.
So just kind of hang out with Glenn, talk with him, hear some updates about the church, promote Cities Cop Church a little bit. But that'll probably be in September sometime.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
There you go.
Sweet.
Any other things, Greg?
No, my sister said, I wish Elijah could be there to help cook for you.
Oh.
I said, put him on a plane.
Yeah.
Went to culinary art school and become quite the chef.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also could play drums that weekend if you need a
cool.
drummer.
Yeah,
or
do
guitar
it all.
player.
Do it all.
So, anyway. Sweet.
The end.
The end. All right.
Hope you have a great rest of the
week.
week. Hope to see you this Sunday. If you have any questions, let us know. Mm-hmm. If you have any prayer requests, let us know. We'd love to walk with you through whatever is going on. You can call us. You can email us. You can stop by the office, stop us in between services, however works best for you. But just glad that you're journeying along with us and hope to do more.
Yeah.
All right?
Do.
Say goodbye, Greg.
Sweet.